Hi, I'm Katrina Senecal. You can call me Kat, and I'm the owner of the Green Room Pilates in Oceanside, California. I'm a Stott Pilates certified instructor and also an instructor trainer for Stott Pilates as well. I'm also a fascial stretch therapist certified through Stretch to Win. And my many influences are the Stott Pilates format, roll thing, foundation training. I just have lots of different modalities that I like to put into my practice. So anyhow, I'm just going to do a basic mat class here. So all you're going to need is a mat. And yep, just for about 20 minutes or so, maybe 25 minutes, get our bodies moving with some different planes of motion. But anyhow, welcome. This is kind of my first try on YouTube. So let's get to it, okay? So I'm just gonna start off with a brief warm up here. So a good side lying position. So we're gonna lay on the side. We wanna make sure that you're all stacked up in one long neutral line here. So you have all the natural curves of your spine present. We're gonna bend the knees, flex the hips, support your head right here with your hand and reach your arm out. Okay, so here we're just gonna start by warming up with a spine twist. So we're gonna inhale, reach the arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, we're gonna twist and open. I'm gently squeezing my knees together here. I'm gonna take a nice big inhale. And then I'm gonna exhale and spin my spine back to the starting position and replace my hand under my head here. So inhale, I'm just gonna reach my arm. Exhale, I'm gonna twist my upper body, opening my chest to the ceiling. I'm gonna take a nice big inhale here. I'm gonna exhale, contract my abdominals and take it around. All right, so from here, I'm just gonna flip over onto my back. I'm gonna reach my fingertips up towards the ceiling here. So this is called the supine position. So what I think is really important is that we establish a neutral position for the spine. Okay, so here I want you to take the pads of your thumbs right here and your index fingers. You're gonna take the pads of your thumbs and put them on your hip bones and then your index fingers on your pubic bone. Those 3 points should be flat, approximately flat to the ground. Okay, so we're looking for those to be in the same plane. We wanna feel the tailbone and sacrum heavy on the mat and have a nice curve away from the mat. Okay, so your lumbar spine curves away from the mat here. And your lowest ribs, you should feel them gently against the mat, okay? Upper spine, we want the neck in line with the center of the rib cage here. So you might need a cushion under your head to help with that. And we don't want to have any tension through the neck and the upper body when we're lying down. So this is a good neutral position. That's the most shock and absorbing position to be in. So really important that we train our bodies while we're neutral. It's also the best place to activate your deep stabilizers of your spine, okay? So here we're gonna reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. We're just gonna take an inhale, reach the arms overhead, and then exhale, circle around. So just allowing my shoulder blades to move with my arms. I'm not really changing the shape of my spine here. Inhaling to reach up, exhale, circle around. So we're just mobilizing the shoulder joints while we're staying in a neutral position here. And one more time, we circle up and come all the way down. So here I'm gonna do some pelvic rocking. So I'm gonna tilt my pelvis into a posterior pelvic tilt. Here my pubic bone is higher than my hip bones. Then I'm gonna go the other way into an anterior pelvic tilt. So going forward and back, really exploring my range of motion here through my lower spine and my pelvis. And I'm gonna find someplace in between those 2 points for my neutral. And then I'm gonna go into what we call an imprinted position. So imprint is a position where we shorten the abdominals here. So we're bringing the hips closer to the rib cage. I'm drawing my lower back closer to the mat, but I'm not jamming it down, okay? And I'm also not squeezing into my glutes here or pressing into my feet a lot to create that. It's simply my abdominals shortening. So my glutes are nice and quiet. I'm gonna hold this imprinted position here and test it out. So it's just giving me a little bit more stability. So I'm gonna lift my legs up to what we call a tabletop position, one at a time. And notice I didn't move through my pelvis and spine there, okay? So I'm just able to maintain that imprinted position. This just gives us a little bit more stability. Or when we're in a position that we call an open chain. So when my feet aren't helping me stabilize when they're down on the mat. Okay? So although some of you may have the strength to be able to work in this open chain in a neutral position, so it's really up to you to determine what that is, okay? But in any case, we want to have a nice sense of stability through our spine. And let's place those feet down and let's get ready and begin our workout, okay? So hopefully you feel warmed up just a little bit. Typically, I do a longer warm-up, so since this is only like a 30-minute or 25-minute video, I'm going to keep it rather short. Okay, so let's go on to our hands and knees here. So knees under the hip joint, hands under the shoulder joint here. And here we want to make sure we find our neutral position through our spine. So all the natural curves of your spine should be present. So we shouldn't be tucked under here with the pelvis, right? And in a rounded position with the spine. We want the natural curve in the lower spine, and we want the opposite curve happening in the upper spine, and we want the head and neck following the line of the spine here. We're going to take a nice big inhale, feel the ribcage expand to the side and to the back here. Think of lengthening the crown of your head away from the tailbone. You're going to exhale and continue to lengthen your spine and pull your abs in tight, okay? Couple more breaths like that. So inhale, send your breath into the lower lobes of the lungs, and exhale, just deepen that contraction through your abdominals here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a hinge. So just hinging back. So I'm hinging my neutral spine, right, back. Okay, so I'm flexing my hips and my knees, also flexing my shoulder joint here. And then I come back just to that neutral position, I guess. And we're gonna hinge back. So think of widening your sit bones and then just coming back up again. So keeping the spine neutral, that's not changing. What's changing is the position of the shoulder joint, the hip joint, and the knee joint. Okay, so we're challenging that neutral position with the hip flexion. Okay, so what we don't want is we don't want to be tucking under as we go back. Okay, we're just staying very neutral through the spine here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and change this a little bit. So I'm going to extend my right leg here. As I did that, I want to make sure I'm not sinking into my left hip. Okay, so staying very neutral again, I'm going to hinge back. So now my toe is down and then come back up again. Staying very neutral again. So just for 4 here. So I'm hinging back, I'm pushing into my arms, coming back to neutral, 1 more like that. I'm hinging back, finding that nice neutral position. Now I'm actually gonna drop my right hip down, and then I'm gonna bring it back up again. Okay, so I'm keeping my spine neutral, I'm just dropping that hip, so I'm rotating my pelvis and my lower spine. 2 more like that, dropping the hip and then coming back up again. And last one here, drop the hip, and I come back up. Now I'm gonna lift that leg up, okay? So keeping the spine neutral, isolating the movement at the hip joint, and then we hinge back. And then coming forward, making sure my left hip is right over my left knee. So we're just gonna do this for 4. And 2 more here. Last one, bring it up and hold. Here we're gonna drop that right hip down. So we're dropping the right hip down and then just bringing it back up again. This is really good for some of our stabilizers on our lower back, right? Yeah, it's also a great position to help come out of neutral and then come back to neutral. We're gonna hold right here. We're just gonna lift and lower that leg. So without moving the pelvis and spine, I'm gonna lift my leg and then lower. Exhale and lift. Inhale and lower. I'm just going to do 2 more like that. Lift and lower. You should feel your glutes firing, hopefully. Here I'm going to bend my knee. Notice I didn't lower my thigh. Oops. Those are my doggies. And lifting and lowering. And 2 more here. And last one. I'm going to extend and reach that leg out. Now I'm going to do a balance challenge. So I'm going to reach my left arm up and my right toe away from my body, just holding this position so I'm not sinking into my left hip here. Inhale and exhale. Also, always wanting to make sure I'm not hyperextending my elbow joint. We're gonna hold for one more breath. And then that hand and knee comes down. Okay, now we're good to do the other side. So we're just gonna start with that bilateral hinge, challenging that neutral position. And inhale to hinge back. I'm widening my sit bones as I hinge back. Pushing my hands, pushing my body away just to hinge at my shoulder joint. And one more here. All right, now without shifting my weight, I'm gonna reach my left toe down the mat, straightening up my leg. And I'm gonna continue with that hinge back. So I'm hinging back, not changing the shape of my spine. This is great, especially if you have some vulnerability through your spine. This is a great way to help keep your spine strong. All right, we got one more here. And bring it up. Okay, so now we're gonna drop that left hip down and then just bring it back up again. Really, really small movement here. And just two more. I'm dropping my hip and then bringing it back up again. And one more, and right back to neutral and centered. So making sure that I'm still in line with my right knee and my right hip, not hyperextending my elbow joints. Here I'm gonna lift my leg without changing the shape of the spine. My abs are nice and tight. And I'm gonna hinge back and coming back. And I hinge back, coming back to that starting position here. Two more like that. I'm hinging, so I'm pressing away with my knee and my arms. It's a good balance challenge, 3-point kneeling here. And one more time. And here I'm gonna hold and drop my hip again. So I'm dropping that hip down and then bringing it back. And I drop it. Yep, so thoracic spine might have a little bit of rotation too. That's okay. I'm trying to keep my leg lifted. I'm gonna hold right here. I'm gonna lift my leg into extension without changing the shape of my spine. And again, exhale, lift, inhale and lower. Just two more like that. You should be feeling your glutes here. Yeah. And hold here. We're gonna bend the knee in, dorsiflex the foot, and lift and lower. Keeping the spine very neutral, just lifting from that hip joint. Glutes and hamstrings create hip extension. Last one here. We're gonna extend that leg. Find your neutral, make sure your knee and your hip are in alignment and you're not hyperextending your elbow joint. And we're gonna reach that right arm up. And we're just gonna hold here. Couple more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Arm and leg comes down. And take that back for a shell stretch. So here you're gonna round your spine. Yep, should feel good. So it's really important to work all of those back muscles, okay? So we're gonna take this into kind of a side type plank exercise, okay? It's really important that when you're exercising in different planes of motion, okay? So, or different planes of movement. So that 4-point kneeling, we were doing sagittal plane. Now we're gonna be doing some coronal plane movement, okay? In the warm up, we did some transverse plane. So we were doing rotation, okay? It's really healthy for your body to do that. So here, my knees are together, my feet are together on the mat, and I'm in a neutral position. So both sides of my spine here are even. I'm gonna reach my arm up. I just want you to kind of sink down into the mat. Okay, just kind of collapse your, underneath your rib cage right here into your arm and just sink your hip down. Okay, so this is where we tend to go and come back to neutral. This is where when we stop paying attention, we tend to kind of just collapse into this position. So we wanna make sure you're pushing away with the mat and keeping both sides of your spine nice and even here. Okay, so bring your arm down by the side, always coming back to this position here. We're gonna come up on the knees, extend the hip joint, okay? Keeping both sides of your spine nice and even. And then we come down, okay? We're gonna add an arm here for just 3 more. Inhale, we lower, and exhale, we lift. Yep, and last one here. So this is our level 1. Then we're gonna add a leg, all right? So adding that leg abduction. out to the side, and then we bring it in. And again, and we lift and lower. This is kind of like a star, right? And we lift to that star position, and one more. And we're gonna lift and hold. So here, feeling any strain through that shoulder joint, you can always come down to your forearm and be in this position here too, okay? So there are always modifications. So coming up and holding, we're gonna do a side kick, right? So arm is reaching in the air, can also be on the hip here. We're gonna kick that leg forward for 2 counts and then bring it back into extension for 1 count, okay? We're just gonna do 3 sets. So we're gonna inhale, double pulse, 1, 2. Exhale, reach back, and just 1 more here, double pulse. And we reach back, let's bring those knees together, and arm comes down, okay? So we're gonna do a 1-arm push here. So just coming back down onto the forearm if you're not there already. And so you're gonna angle your hand and your forearm out to the corner, top corner of the mat. Okay, so that you're externally rotating your humerus slightly. I want you to feel a sense of openness through this shoulder right here. Other arm is gonna reach up towards the ceiling. You're gonna spread your fingers apart, and we're just gonna push up. All right, and inhale to come down. Exhale, so you're just pushing your body up and away, extending your elbow joint, and then controlling it down. We're gonna do 8 like that. And up. Good. So if you want more range of motion, you're going to bring your hand closer in towards your body. Okay, and we have 3 more here. And 2. So working those triceps, right? As we come up, they're shortening and then they're lengthening to come down, working eccentrically. And last one here. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. All right, so we're gonna start with that, just that hip lift up with both knees, okay? So you can always come back to this level 1 exercise as we progress through this series, okay? And you can also be doing this on your forearm and just lifting up to a plank, okay? So we're gonna add a leg here for the star and coming down. And reach. Abs are nice and tight here. Not hyperextending the elbow joint. And last one here. And we hold up. You can be down on your forearm here. We're going to kick that leg forward. 1, 2. And then bring it back. Kick that forward. 1, 2. And then we bring it back. No movement between the hips and the rib cage here. 1, 2. And we bring it back. Let that knee come in. And we come down, okay? So here, we're gonna bend the elbow and externally rotate the humerus, okay? Now, we're gonna reach this arm up towards the ceiling, keeping the spine neutral. We just press up, all right? And inhale, we control down. And exhale, pressing into that mat, we come up. Inhale, we control down. This is great for the stabilizers of your scapula as well, right? Your serratus anterior muscle working all the muscles down your side here. And let's go for 4. Not to mention those triceps. And 2. And 1 more here. Woo! Awesome. Great. Okay. So we're going to go on to our back. We're going to do a shoulder bridge series. All right. Now we're almost done. So we want to make sure we're in a good neutral position here, so you have all the natural curves of your spine present. Your pubic bone and hip bones are in the same plane. We're going to reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, just pick the hips up. So we're not rolling the hips, we're picking the hips up for a shoulder bridge. So here, when you inhale, I want you to think of reaching your rib cage and your pelvis away from each other. And then exhale, continue to have that distance. Don't let that space shorten as you exhale and pull your abs nice and tight. The glutes are engaged here. So we're gonna inhale, exhale, we're gonna pick up the right leg without dropping the pelvis. And then we lower. Left leg picks up, and then we lower. Yeah, so really challenging to stabilize the pelvis here. Great exercise. Last one here. All right, now we're gonna pick up that right leg and we're gonna do some leg circles. So we're gonna circle in towards the midline and around. Yep, so the challenge is not to let my pelvis drop, especially on that right side. Hold and reverse. And circle away, cross the midline, bring it in. And again. So my glutes on my left side are working super hard too. Last one here, inhale. Exhale, that leg comes down. Hold, inhale. Think of reaching the rib cage away from the pelvis. And exhale, just folding at the hip joint to come down, okay? Inhale here, exhale. We gotta do the other leg, right? So coming back up again, engaging those glutes. Think of reaching space between your rib cage and your pelvis here. We're gonna inhale, hold, exhale. We're gonna pick that left leg up and then we lower it down. So notice I'm articulating through my feet here, right? So when I'm putting my foot down, it's toe and then heel. I pick up my heel first and then lift my toe, all right? And we have one more here. The challenge is not letting the pelvis move, right? Inhale, exhale, let's pick up that left leg, and here we're gonna do the leg circles, right? So we have a really small base of support here, so super challenging, so take it slow. We're gonna do two more here. Glutes here are working super hard. Hold and reverse that. Circle away, cross the midline, bring it in. Woo! You should feel it. Aim for progress. You don't have to be perfect, that's for sure. Hold here. Put that foot down. Take a big inhale. Feel that rib cage expand. Exhale, just place your hips down. All right, so good. Right, so we're gonna roll up here and we're just gonna do a quick ab series and then we're gonna wrap it up. So laying on your back, you're gonna place your hands behind your head. You're gonna extend your right leg and we're gonna do an ab prep. Okay, so you're in neutral here with your spine. With that ab prep, you're just gonna look down towards your knees slightly, stabilize your head on your neck, and use your abs to flex your spine, okay? Keeping your lowest rib down, we're gonna hold, inhale, exhale, and come down. We're gonna do that for 4. Inhale, nod the chin. Exhale, come up. Inhale, hold. Exhale, and down. Let's make that a little bit more dynamic by switching that to a 2-breath pattern. So we're gonna exhale, come up, inhale to come down. Let's do one more. Exhale, come up, and inhale, come down. We're gonna add that right knee in this time for 4. So exhale, we come up, and inhale, we extend that leg. And exhale. So it's challenging the pelvis not to rotate or hike up on one side and also to stay neutral. Right, so don't try to tuck your pelvis under here to get up really high with your spine. So we're gonna hold here, reach and extend the other leg up so you have a good staggered position here. And for the last set, we're gonna just lower and lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. And one more, inhale, lower, exhale, lift. And head comes down. Legs come back up, bring the feet down. We're gonna stretch that left leg up and start again just with the regular ab prep. So exhale, I'm flexing forward, right? And inhale to come down. And exhale, I flex up. I'm keeping my pelvis very neutral, keeping the tension out of my neck and my upper body. And last one here, exhale. This time I'm gonna add my left knee in. So exhale, I flex up, bring that knee in, inhale, I lengthen down. And exhaling here, and inhale, I lengthen down. Let's do 2 more. You should be feeling this, right? Definitely. And last one here. All right, so we're gonna come back up again, and we're gonna extend that right leg, a staggered position, and we're gonna lower and lift. This is our last set. Are your abs screaming? And 2. Very effective. And last one here. Coming all the way down. Feet come down. Whoop, whoop. And we're gonna roll up here. And we're just gonna stretch out just ever so quickly. So we're gonna sit in this mermaid position or like a staggered position with the legs. We're gonna inhale, reach this arm up, and exhale, just come down for a nice side stretch. You can reach that leg back to open up that hip joint here. Nice big inhale. And exhale and come up, and then we're gonna switch that out. So your heel can be right up against your knee and pushing this hip into extension. We're gonna inhale and exhale here. Inhale, and again, and exhale, and really reaching and extending through this hip here. Nice big inhale, and that's it. Hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this quick little session. I'll be working on some other videos. And anyhow, we'll see you soon. Bye now. And I've got to end recording, so whoop, there we go.